Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to the Average Joe Hobby Show. I'm your humble host, the Average Joe. Let's learn and have fun together. With that said, let's begin. To finish this monster piece's base, I shall be applying WYLDWOOD to the figure's little sword, BALTHASAR Gold for his armor, Gorthor Brown to highlight the WYLDWOOD, Ironbreaker to highlight some gold on him as well, REIKLAND FLESHSHADE to give all the gold a wash, Gehenna's Gold and Stormhost Silver to highlight the trim. The additional colors, such as touching up the sandbags, the acids, and the other skulls scattered around his base, will be done with the same foundational colors I'll used for the skulls and his mouth earlier. Please click the video links in the description down below to view those videos. Wipe the brush very carefully across the lines. Just build it up slowly. Let it take shape. Just wipe the excess off. That is his little helmet. Now the gold will also go over his back here, shoulder pad here, and the plate on his hand there, and that'll be it. And that is the application of BALTHASAR Gold. Ironbreaker will be used to fix anything I may have messed up with the previous browns and golds, as well as to highlight some of the various little dots and rivets around his body. Rivet right there. There's a rivet right here. And right there. More texture and depth, I guess. It's very nice. Got all those little rivets. Time for an Average Joe pro tip. REIKLAND FLESHSHADE, or any other kind of good flesh coloring, such as a wash or an ink, is also a really good color for gold. It helps give it a very warm, strong look. So if you want to increase the depth of your gold colors, use a flesh wash. That really helps. It's also not going to hurt any of the red, so I don't mind applying it over his red part of the armor, which I think also enhances it. It's very nice. Just try to avoid the green and the blue. Make sure there's no excess, and it's good. Yeah, that strengthens the warmth of the gold. I really like that, especially against the green. This is pretty. I like that. Very good. Okay, so I finished off all the small details for the figure on his base here, except for the wound and the sandbags. That will come later, but all this, the wound, the bone, and the slime acid section here, all that's going to be done off camera because it's all based on steps I've done before. So refer to the links in the description down below for the previous videos for the bone work and the interior mouth work, because those are just quick, simple steps I'll throw together in a few moments. However, the most important thing is that Corex White will cover the bone and the acid slime parts here, so I gotta be sure to differentiate which one is which when I apply the next colors for the bone part. The texture paint, which will be applied after all of that, will go in the open spaces here, into here, across the sprues and the rest of the base. And this is the rest of the off-camera work I wanted to do. I did the sandbags, the wound on his arm, and I touched up all little bone pieces, the skulls here on his base and across his body and various other bone parts, such as his teeth and the skurs on his horns. So what I'm going to use for the base is texture paint. The reason why I have two is because they're both of the same type, Armageddon dust. This one's simply older and is about to wear out, so I'm going to focus on using this first. Now, what's different from normal paints is that texture paint, or this specific kind of paint from Citadel, is a technical paint, which means it's applied in a unique way. In this case, it's not a liquid, it's more of a paste. So the material has aggregate in it, which is all the physical stuff that helps define it being more of a solid paste instead of a liquid. Now, instead of a brush, you use a tool like this, which is a little sculpting tool you use to scoop out the material and then apply it to the base. A flat, wide end and a short, slightly thicker end. This allows you to push it around into the various locations so that it can fit into all the nice cracks and crevices. Okay, that is all the texture paint I want to apply. That is a lot of work that I had to get through to get into all those recesses and cracks, especially his toes and around the front of the base. Now again, it's going to get colored later with like maybe Agrex or Earthshade or something else, and that'll help differentiate it from the skulls and the sandbags. Now, if you're wondering why there's paint on my thumbnail, that's because I was testing a color earlier. And such color is going to be used right now. This is the contrast paint, WYLDWOOD. I'm going to dilute it with some medium and then apply it to the Armageddon dust. This will help make it very different from the skulls and the sandbag, and the yellow effects I will apply later will go well with the brown. Let's see how this goes.
Hours later.
Time for an average Joe pro tip. It is inevitable that sometimes in your painting of a miniature that you'll make mistakes. Accidents happen. It's important to try to compensate and overcome them and learn from them. The mistake that I made recently was applying the contrast paint to the base in an incorrect manner, leaving it shiny and somewhat tacky. I doubt you can hear the tackiness, stickiness occurring when I touch it. But I did what I could to compensate. I let it sit for a few days and I used a hot air dryer to try and take out some of the tackiness, but there's still quite a bit left and there's not much else I can do with it. So I'm just going to bite the bullet and accept it as is and just do the next steps. I'm going to dry brush some of this color, one of my favorite brown colors actually, Baneblade Brown, onto the dirt area. After that, I can finally attend to the acid slime stuff. So let's get started. Now remember, with dry brushing, you're just trying to get the residue from the brush onto the model. So make sure to wipe off all the excess onto your paper towel here. Make sure to, just don't do it too much so it's gone, but just enough so it can get some residue off. Now let's see if I can fix this. Just drag it gently across the base. I mean, yeah, it looks good, but I don't know if it will help the tackiness or not. I mean, it's a good color choice. It really helps the dark parts fade away from the highest points. Oh yeah, that helps a lot. The tackiness is gone. That's good. Whew. Yeah, dry brushing this color really helped. It really made the dirt nice and textured. Maybe I'll put a shrub or two, a dirty shrub or two here. It's good. I like it. Really helps compensate the tackiness and shininess from earlier. Looks very proper now. I can finally do the touch-ups that will then lead me into the final steps for this model. I'm so excited for this part. So to create this coloring effect, I'm actually going to do a color mix with the contrast Nazdreg Yellow and Plaguebearer Flesh, with Nazdreg Yellow being the primary color. I'm not an absolute expert at mixing colors, and mixing colors is something you have to do in one go because you can never really get the mixture the same way twice, if only barely. So what's mostly going to happen is I'm going to pour out a little bit of Nazdreg Yellow and pour out an even smaller amount of Plaguebearer Flesh. So let's do this. Alright, this is the moment of truth. Let's see how this works. I'll first apply it to the little slime area back here. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice color. Maybe just apply a little bit right here, just across the brown itself. That's good. Oh yeah, that's a good color, and that looks so good against the brown. I love it. All right, let's get the rest. Just to make it look like it's splashing a bit. Ooh, I got too much of that skull. Oh well.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Oh gee, oh no. Oh, I scraped off the paint. Ah, oh, crap. That's more work to do later. Coming down to the wire with the last 4 steps for Ghoul, the next paint I'm going to use is Moon Dust. This will be a gentle dry brush along the edges of the slime acid areas, and then after that will be the final technical applications. I'm just going to dry brush the Moon Dust very gently across the outer edges. Very little on the inside, but also, especially around all the parts where it touches anything that's not the acid. Try to give it the wearing down, bleeding, not bleeding, melting kind of look, you know? Now, one of the last 3 steps is going to include this technical paint, Blood for the Blood God. A technical paint is very different. You don't water it down, and you can even take it straight from the pot. This is an application of a very thick material, and it's, well, a blood effect. It's simple as that. I'm going to apply it to a few things, the figure on the base, his weapons, and maybe his mouth. Try to get a point. Just splatter some extra blood effect here and there. Now, this is it. This is the last 2 steps for Ghoul entirely. A varnish for all the acid and slime, and then more actual slime with the technical paint, Nurgle's Rot. I'm going to do the varnish first. Excuse me. I'm going to do the varnish first, because this will help make all the acid slime stuff glow, or shine. Off, and just start applying. Straight from the pot. Make sure to get all the excess in. Don't want to screw it up. Alright, here we go. This is the very last step for Ghoul. I'm going to just apply a little amount of the technical paint, Nurgle's Rot. It works pretty much the same way as the previous technical paint, and I'll just apply it to the base, and that's pretty much it. And here we go. I'm just going to slap it on various locations, just make it look like it's just splattered everywhere. You know, just gross nastiness coming off this guy. Dun, 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 dun. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is my custom-created War Dog Carnivore for the Chaos Knights. I'm glad you've watched all of these videos so far, and I assure you, there is a lot more to come. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video or stream. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you have not done so already. I really appreciate the support. Please let me know what kind of endeavor craft, or hobby you're working on in the comments down below. I'll see you next time.